We're going to talk about Chinese astrology today. I think this is a fun subject. It's a little different. Part of what I teach is art and culture, and so we're going to merge them a little bit. And so we're coming upon the Chinese New Year. Sometimes it's called the Lunar New Year. Sometimes it's called Spring Festival. In any case, it is definitely an interesting time period. Happy New Year in Western culture. What do? We kiss somebody at night, at midnight. We drink champagne. We watch a ball drop. If we're lucky, we go to a really fun party. I like some of the traditions that I actually have experienced when I have been involved in some sort of activity related to the Chinese New Year. So why not? Eastern astrology, Chinese zodiac, Lunar New Year, art and culture, that's the theme. We are going to be going into the year of the ox, 2021. I think I speak for all of us when I say goodbye 2020, won't miss you. And so in any case, let me keep rolling on. So this is by Nathan Perry. He's a contemporary artist. I wanted a really good image of the ox. And so this year, 2021, is going to be the metal ox, the year of the metal ox. So based on the year that you're born, you determine which animal is supposed to be corresponding to your personality and your place in the universe, if we want to talk about it that way. And then as well, each of us has an element that is associated with that year. So in any case, I'll give you a source of where you're going to find out what your sign is. It sounds like such a cheap pickup line. So in any case, this is by Nathan Perry. He's out of Alaska. Look at the detail. It's really quite remarkable. And so here's another example. So this is called Chinese Zodiac Offering. Best wishes. I thought it was lovely because it's so vibrant, it's so colorful, it's so optimistic. And I think right now we all need optimistic. So this is the shows the Chinese character of fortune, composed by the 12 Chinese zodiac animals, based on these ingenious and interesting and interlocking designs. And this is by Ren Yud, 1998. So it's also contemporary. And it's engraved paper and not too large, 47 by 41 centimeters. Arturo de Modica, Charging Bull. This is in New York, produced in the late 1980s. This was created in the wake of the 1987 Black Monday stock market crash. So a bull market is certainly better than a bear market. And so 2021, we hope, is the year of the bull financially as well. So 2021, on February 12th this year, ushers in the year of the ox, as I stated. And we just came out of the year of the rat. So there's 12 animals which represent the Chinese zodiac sign. They're the rat, the ox, the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, the snake, the horse, goat, sometimes sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. So each animal, again, is associated with certain personality traits. It makes it fun to look up and see what your sign is. See if it matches your personality. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'll have a little discussion area so you can tell us about it. Did it match? Did it not match? Did you think it was ridiculous? Did you think it was fun? Whatever. Again, like Western astrology, there are similar aspects, but the creatures are certainly different. There's still power signs in both. So like Western astrology, there is planetary shifts, and in this instance, the 5 elements. There's an additional influence. And so this practice dates back thousands of years. And again, here is one example of one of these wheels. And you can kind of look around for your birth date and see what coincides with what year you are in. So it's based on the lunar calendar, the moon, whereas Western astrology is more centered in the orbits around the sun. Now in this lecture, you're going to notice that sometimes I'm not using academic sites because some of this is popular culture. But as much as possible, I do use more academic sources. This is a painting of Buddhist astrology combined with East Indian motifs. The artist is unknown. But certainly it's just fascinating to see that as much as we are different, there's also certain similarities as well. And so I thought these were pretty interesting and very vibrant. And again, why not? So the Eastern Zodiac is believed by most, almost across the board, to be the oldest known horoscope system in the world. Ancient writings have dated it to 4th century before Common Era. Some say 5th century Common Era, so more than 7,000 years ago. So officially it was considered and kind of more documented, if you would, by the Han Dynasty, and that was 2,000 years ago. So this is a calendar of Chinese horoscope animals, a birthday gift to Emperor Qianlong, 1700s. So through the use of the sundial and water clocks, the Chinese as early as 104 before Common Era developed a pretty reliable calendar based on the phases of the moon. The materials that this is made with, and I love that brilliant fuchsia silk color, is wood, jade, silk, and metal. So now personal horoscopes, a lot of people have followed them closely. A lot of people follow them for entertainment. Some people are very, very serious about them. So they became an idea in the years following the arrival of Buddhism in China around the Han Dynasty. And so it brought with it the idea that there are greater forces at work in the mapping of individual destiny. And so this is quoted in an article, and it is an article by Vicente out of Oprah magazine. So again, I've used a lot of popular sources as well. So not sure what your sign is, you're going to go to ChineseZodiac.com, and then you're going to put in calculator, period, PHP, and you should be able to come up what your sign is. So again, there's the disclaimer. This lecture is for entertainment, education. I don't want you to lose sleep over. My sign is a wood dragon, and so you'll occasionally catch me in my classes with some sort of dragon imagery. I like dragon jewelry. I think it's fun. And so it is one of the power signs. It's considered an auspicious sign, and dragons are fierce and certainly powerful, so I love that. And anyway, wood dragons are willing to entertain the opinions of others. Their artistic side is strong. Yeah, and wood dragons enjoy being creative and innovative. They get along with others, but will always be the dominating force. Have I been told I'm a little pushy sometimes or stubborn? Yeah, but in any case, let me move on. But look at this wonderful dragon jar. This is glazed porcelain, 18th century, so 1700s. And so A difference between Eastern culture and Western culture is dragons are usually more fierce and violent, whereas in Korean culture, they believe that dragons defeated evil and brought rain for bountiful harvest. In China and Korea, five-clawed dragons were the symbols of the emperor. And so sometimes when you do find artwork that has those five claws, you know that it's pretty highly collectible because it may indeed have been something that was designated for the emperor. So one of those interesting things. So an early Zodiac find, radiocarbon dating showed the ivory in the Croatian Zodiac fragments that were found, considered Greco-Roman, that dates to around 2,200 years ago. And so this is a phallic stalagmite, which appears to have been the center for religious ceremonies and offerings. And so here you can see a drawing of Cancer, the sign for Cancer. And this is, of course, in the Western horoscope. And you have to look closely for it, and hence they've drawn an image of it next to it so you can kind of see it a little bit more clearly. Well, I want to say it was probably just a year ago. I happened to be in Vegas around the time of the New Year, the Lunar New Year, or the Spring Festival. And it was really interesting to see how very much the idea of luck and good fortune, and a lot of these ideas were very much emphasized in Vegas, because Vegas is a place of luck and fortune and loss, certainly. Me, I'm not much of a gambler. What am I doing? I'm doing things like going and looking at Japanese art. And so I went into this exhibition at the Bellagio, and the Bellagio has fantastic Chihuly glass, and it also has had a lot of red, because red is an auspicious color, and so in celebration of Spring Festival, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of red lanterns. These are a symbol of life, prosperity. They're often hung on important festivals, and in some famous Chinatowns, you can see lanterns all year round. When I'm thinking of San Francisco, Chinatown, you always see red lanterns. It's lovely. So red, very popular in Chinese culture, symbolizing luck, joy, happiness, and also celebration, vitality, and fertility in traditional Chinese color symbolism. It's a traditional color worn by Chinese brides, as it is believed to ward off evil. Now, contemporary Chinese brides sometimes do like to copy the tradition of wearing white like Western brides. But white is a symbol of death, and many Chinese people do not care for people wearing the color white, especially for something that's an auspicious event like a wedding. I even know of some brides that actually wear both. They have a Western ceremony, and then they later have a Eastern ceremony, and then they incorporate those values. So we're becoming more and more multicultural and diverse, and so you are seeing these influences. The chrysanthemums were everywhere in this Spring Festival, which obviously was being heavily promoted in Vegas. It was a fun place to be around the New Year. You had all of these yellow chrysanthemums, some red ones, mostly yellow and red. And they're very, very good fortune. So these are the chrysanthemum, together with the plum blossom, orchids, bamboo, have been regarded as the four symbols of noble characters by the Chinese scholars since ancient times. So it has positive meanings, and it was beautiful, especially around the entrance to a lot of the large casinos. So my harvest is, I don't know, is just a bowl full right now, but it actually is pretty productive. It's only a bush that's about 1.5 feet tall, so it's been pretty busy. But in any case, you eat them whole. You don't peel them or anything like that. And they're kind of tangy, and they're loaded with vitamin C. So if you haven't tried them, I urge you to. It's one of those things I tried years ago, completely forgot about it, and then I got kind of turned on to them a couple of years ago, and now I'm kind of addicted to them. So the Chinese uses the lunar calendar for festive occasions, including the New Year, between late January and early February. Again, this year it's February 12th. So the cycle of the 12 animal signs is from Chinese folklore. Animals follow one another in an established pattern. And again, the rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. Interestingly, in my family, they're all different. So it's really, really kind of interesting. And strangely kind of accurate. This is a complete set of Zodiac characters, reminiscent of Tang Dynasty and Mao, but it's more contemporary. And so then I also have below emblem of Taoist, or sometimes spelled Taoist, symbol, and it's yin and yang, and these are symbols that are sometimes associated with the zodiac signs as well. I mean, you can actually go online and learn about feng shui, and learn about the Chinese Lunar New Year, Spring Festival. There's a lot of interesting articles on this, and some of them are more popular culture, some of them are a little bit more academic, but all of them are pretty fun. So here's a chart. So again, you can go to the Chinese highlights website that I recommended, or again, you can also calculate it here. But if you want to find out the specific element based on your specific birthday, you do need to go online. It's the easiest way to figure that out. So again, just locate your birth year and kind of figure out which one you are. This is a Tibetan 1700s manuscript. It's not a terrific resolution, and I apologize for it. I'm still looking for a better one, and I may find it, but not so far. Hopefully you've had a moment to locate your year. Some of you probably know it, and that's good. So 2020, again, was the year of the rat. Some people online called it the year of the nurse, which I thought was interesting. I have a daughter in nursing school, so for us it is the year of the nurse as well. So it's the year of the ox starts February 12th, so it's not quite there yet. And it lasts until, again, much later. And then, of course, we'll go into the next. So he who knows others is learned, he who knows himself is wise. Sorry, my dog's tearing up a toy. And so some people follow astrology closely. Again, for some, it's just entertainment. But there's a story or there's a fable that is part of it. Now, mind you, in mythology, there might be slightly different stories. So if not quite the one that you're familiar with, that's kind of normal, because mythology usually starts on oral traditions, and it's sometimes regional. Different regions will have different ideas. So the Jade Emperor, or Yudi, originated the Zodiac. So this is the supreme deity of Chinese tradition. This is, again, I'm not going to mutilate those pronunciations because I will. So he governs the cosmos, lives in a palace in heaven with his large family and entourage. So it comes from Chinese oral tradition incorporated into state-governed Chinese religion by Emperor Shenzong of the Song dynasty, after the emperor claimed to have seen the god in a vision in 1007. So not a creator god, believed that the universe came into existence from the union of matter and movement, which according to the principles of yin and yang were infinitely alternate to producing the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. So again, you're a specific animal, like again, I told you I was a dragon, and then you're also associated with a particular element, which mine's wood dragon. So Chinese painting of portraits of Jade Emperor and the Heavenly Kings. These are ink and color on silk. They're anonymous. We do not know who painted it. It obviously have been commissioned by the Emperor, certainly more than likely. And I have here a jade coiled dragon, and it's sometimes called a pig dragon. And these are very, very old. These are from Hongshan culture, so roughly 5,500 years ago, so 3,500 before Common Era. Jade was considered more precious than diamonds, and there's different colors of jade. There is white jade. We, of course, most associate it with being green jade. There's also a lavender jade and even a brown jade. But again, some of the more well-known jades are white and green. I actually have a pig dragon ornamentation on my jewelry. So in any case, this is a pig dragon. And it's also one of the oldest artifacts in Asian cultures. So long ago, there was no Chinese zodiac. The Jade Emperor, this is the story, the legendary story. The Jade Emperor wanted animals to be his guards. He sent an immortal being into man's world to spread the message that the earlier one went through the heavenly gate, the better rank one would have. Kind of like people rushing to get the vaccine. Oh, no, anyway, so the quick rat and the diligent ox were first and second. The rat noticed the ox was at the finish line and jumped in the ox's ear. He didn't mind. He's an easygoing one. And then the rat jumped down and got ahead, because rats can be sneaky and competitive. And so tiger and rabbit came next. They are very active and competitive as well. The good-looking dragon was fifth and was immediately noticed by the Jade Emperor, who said Dragon's son could be sixth, but Dragon's son didn't come with him. Just then, Snake came forward and said Dragon was his adoptive father, so Snake ranked sixth. Okay, horse and goat came next and were polite, insisting the other goes first. They were ranked seventh and eighth. The monkey was far behind, but jumped between trees and arrived. Finally, the rooster, dog, and pig came. And so China Highlights is kind of a tourism site or a culture site, and it's actually pretty interesting if you want to explore it. So these are very old casts of Zodiac figures, and they look very old. These are actually copies of originals, and so the originals would have been 7th to 10th century, but these were believed to be produced 1870s to 1900s, but they look older. Certainly the style looks older. I labeled them up in the corner because the horse, the dragon looks kind of odd, and then there's the rooster and then there's the ox. And they're all personified, which I think is interesting. You often see them personified in art. So these are mortuary figures of zodiac signs, around 500. It's quite old. gray earthenware, and they're around 9 inches, pretty good size. The Chinese concept of time was structured in a cyclical manner. 12 animals, again, are linked to the art of fortune telling. So that underlies human existence in connection with changes of the universe. So this was used in tombs, and so something that would accompany people into the afterlife. Kind of reminds me of the Egyptian Ushabti figures or Shabti figures that were part of Egyptian culture that were actually found in the tombs of many important people, in particular pharaohs. So the English artist Thomas Powell actually painted these Chinese zodiac figures. There's no date given on them. But again, you see how they're personified? They're pretty charming. I'll give you a minute to look at them. Ai Weiwei loves to inspire. He also loves to shock. This artwork was created in Legos to inspire children. And so it's very, very vibrant. This is some of his more recent work. It's from 2018. And it was on display at the Ringling Museum in Sarasota. And so this is by Ai Weiwei, a little different than Ai Weiwei's normal style. The wheel of the sky has turned since then. This is another author writing about the exhibition. Ai Weiwei's latest animal zodiac has now arrived, a new celestial menagerie. Created with Legos. Yes, those small, colorful, interlocking plastic bricks made in Denmark, the delight of children and collectors, and the bane of vacuum cleaners everywhere. And they're not delightful when you step on them either, as most parents with young children will tell you. So it is reminiscent of Andy Warhol's work of 1972. And I don't think that was by accident. I think it was very, very much intentional. Ai Weiwei really, really admires the work of Andy Warhol. In fact, he was in New York in the 1980s, so he would have been exposed to a great deal of Andy Warhol's artworks. In any case, it's interesting. It's interesting that these Chinese figures are kind of reminiscent of Warhol's series on Chairman Mao. So he was born in the year of the rooster. This is Ai Weiwei. And people with Chinese zodiac roosters, according to Chinese zodiac tradition, have many excellent characteristics. They're honest, they're bright, they're communicative, and ambitious. Most of them are born pretty or handsome and prefer to dress up. And certainly Ai Weiwei very much has a strong presence in art history. Some consider him one of the most important Chinese artists right now. So the fiery temperament of the rooster is expected to infuse more enthusiasm and energy into our activities, increasing hopes for better prospects for everyone. And so that was a quote from the year of the rooster. So the rooster can be sincere, tolerant, hardworking, honest, optimistic, and loyal, trustworthy, blunt. And so far, I think it's pretty accurate for him. Sociable and likes being the center of attention, yes. He's often has a little entourage following him and videotaping almost everything he does. Likes attention and can be annoying. He can certainly be annoying to the Chinese government, that's for sure. Very organized and neat. So this is Ai Weiwei, and he's looking at the rooster. He did a number of these bronze sculptures, and here you can see it produced in clay before it was done in bronze. And the details are just remarkable. Some of you might remember a number of years ago, they were on display at the LACMA for a pretty long time, and then they went on somewhere else. And I think I have a clip of it. I'll try to look. So the rooster can be shrewd, articulate, honest, hardworking, temperamental, relentless, and competitive. And so, and here we see another Chinese scroll. It's really quite lovely. Zhang Hong 2, 12 zodiac figures, glazed ceramic, and this also references the Mao regime. And so originally from mainland China and New York, based since 1982 in New York, Zhang's subject matter and styles have continued to shift, and he has a large body of work, and he's pretty popular. And so this is, of course, the rat, Z. Imaginative, generous, successful, popular, curious, a concealed charmer. Creative, a survivor. Private, like a place to retreat to, love to explore caves, love to travel, inquisitive, and sometimes secretive. Rats excel as a critic. They can be contradictory and difficult to understand. They love to make a good deal, can be materialistic, can't we all? Warm-hearted and passionate. Some rats can be stingy and unfair, but most are fair. Tend to be financially successful. Many rats have a talent for writing, especially fantasy and science fiction. Organized. Other rats, Hugh Grant, Gwyneth Paltrow, Henri Toulouse-Lautrec, T.S. Eliot, George Washington. So, and then I have a more contemporary example by Donna Dodson called Rat, and she's again a Seattle artist. Katharina Fritz, Man and Mouse, early 1980s. She's has been preoccupied with the subject for a while. Her works have this really interesting sculptural texture. They almost look spongy when you look at them. There's a very, very distinct look to them. And I will make sure I include a clip on her work as well. Rat King, these are monumental. And if I was walking into a gallery, I might be a little creeped out. I know that in our region, we have what's called roof rats. And I've had to occasionally have a few, take care of a few rats outside. And again, I think they're not most people's favorite creature, but it has some good attributes in Chinese mythology. Dragon, snake, goat, and rooster. And again, Hong 2 references both the past and politics. These examples show Mao regime clothing, which I think is interesting. So he's also referencing the past because other artists personified these creatures as well. So these are funerary sculptures of the Zodiac from the Lion Science Museum in the top corner. The political pop works from his Mao series exemplifies a sense of humor and surprise, and this is also Zhang Hong 2, Chairman Mao, 1989. And again, you can see this might be pretty controversial, especially in the 1980s. So he gives us an experience of seeing the image of Mao everywhere around us, from the front of the Quaker Oaks canister to a silhouette cutout of burlap. This inundation of Mao's likeness draws on Zhang's experience of Chairman Mao's absolute power and influence. And so this is a quote from the Queen's Museum. And certainly he's also looking back to Warhol. And that happens a lot in art history. We call it appropriation. So here you can see an example of appropriation. And so you have Warhol, and then you have Hong 2, and then you have Ai Weiwei, and they're all appropriating basically the same idea. Adam Chang, rat. This is a painting. And Summer Palace rat Zodiac head is also shown here. So let me give you the background for this particular rather important rat sculpture. This was one of two sculptures that was returned. Basically, what happened was it was taken during war. We call that spolia in art history, S-P-O-L-I-A, where you take something away, you appropriate the culture of another culture. And oftentimes, this results in a lot of conflict later when a lot of these items get kept. And so this happens a lot in art history, and it happens a lot in the news and in the judicial systems as well. So the family of a French billionaire and art collector, the late Yves Saint Laurent, eased a sore point in history on Friday by returning two bronze animal heads among Chinese treasures that were pillaged from a Beijing palace by French and British troops more than a century and a half ago. The sculptures of a rabbit and rat are among 12 animal heads that were looted, spolia, from Beijing's old summer palace in 1860 by Anglo-French troops during the Second Opium War. And so in any case, it was returned. And some of these are extremely valuable, and so they don't always get parted from easily. So they have fired diplomatic rows and auctions reaching as high as $40 million. They have inspired Ai Weiwei, even once cheekily offered up in exchange for Tibet. Now the bronze head of a rat and a rabbit, part of a collection of 12 Chinese zodiac figures that were looted when foreign troops burned the imperial gardens outside Beijing in 1860, are coming home. And so, so here you can see indeed these much older sculptures that were taken away, and then you can also see Ai Weiwei's appropriation of it. He appropriated it, but he also changes it. If you look at the details of Ai Weiwei's works, they're a little more detailed. They're certainly larger. And they were displayed different ways. Here you see it around a fountain. I've seen it kind of, they've arranged in more of a countryside. The Lakma put them more in a courtyard. You could sit in the restaurant and kind of look at them. So they've been arranged in different places based on where they're being displayed. And those are Ai Weiwei's figures. So these figures, again, were originally part of Beijing's old summer palace, and there was a total of 7 of the figures have been found. And so Ai Weiwei, these were indeed the inspiration for those portrait heads. By returning these two marvels to China, my family, this is Yves Saint Laurent's family, are committed to preserving national heritage and artistic creation. And so this, again, over and over and over again, this has been a really, really tough topic in art history, like the Elgin marbles in the British Museum that were, of course, taken from Greece and have resided in the British Museum for a long, long time now. So it's definitely an interesting topic in art history. The ox, confident, and this is the year that we're going into. And supposedly the year that you're going into, if that's your year, if you're the year of the ox, you would think that would be auspicious. Well, it's going to be my year. But usually, from what I understand from people who are certainly more trained in this than moi, is that it's a year that you should maybe be a little bit more cautious, if indeed it is your year. So if you're an ox and we're going into the year of the ox, you generally need to hold back and just be a little more cautious, is my understanding. So they're confident, they're honest, patient, conservative, strong, hard workers, persistent, and judge people who do not work as hard as they do. They tend to classify things into good and bad, not a lot of gray in their world. Not social, tend to be quiet, capable of fearsome rage, You don't want to be ticking them off. And so on, this is Adam Chang's Ox. Again, it's a painting. This was a contemporary work. I love the texture of it. And this was produced in 2010s. So strong, reliable, fair, conscientious, inspiring, confidence in others. Do you notice that most of these are positive? You don't really get much may become a criminal or anything like that. They tend to be very, very positive. So they're calm, they're patient, methodical, and can be trusted. They can say little, they can be very opinionated. They believe strongly in themselves, but are also stubborn and hate to fail or be challenged. They do not lose their temper easily. Their anger can become explosive and impulsive. They are serious and quiet and not naturally sociable, which can make them dull. I don't know if that's dull. Ox people have a great sense of common sense. So a netsuke was sometimes kind of used as like a clasp on a container, or it could also kind of hang from a robe and be part of the closure of a robe. So they're not very big. They're pretty small. And again, they're very, very collectible. A lot of art collectors love to collect netsukes. So small figure of ivory, wood, metal, ceramic. Again, originally used as a button-like fixture on a man's sash. But some of them are really quite ornate, and some of them are much more simplified. And so here we have an ox netsuke, a horse one, and a dog netsuke. And certainly if that's the year in which you are born, you could see that those sort of emblems would probably be pretty popular for a netsuke. So tiger, this is additional source on the tiger. This is by Li Huyi, tiger from the Zodiac series, the third position on the Chinese Zodiac. It's bravery, competitiveness, unpredictability, love to be challenged, and will accept any challenge if it means protecting a loved one or protecting their honor. Don't let their calm demeanor fool you. Tigers will pounce when they feel it is necessary. Tigers can be stubborn when they're not in charge. They can be selfish. Overall, tigers are generous. They're very intelligent and always on alert. They can be charming and well-liked. They are not motivated by money or power. The rabbit. The rabbit's affectionate, cute, kind, compassionate, merciful. Their homes are artistic and have good taste. Usually kind, sweet, popular people can be pessimistic. Don't like to argue. They enjoy peaceful, private lives. 9 out of 10 rabbit people will buy your product. That's that they're rather gullible, romantic, faithful. They never lack for suitors. For the Chinese people, the rabbit is a tame creature representing hope for a long time. It's tender, lively. The moon goddess Chang'e in Chinese legend had a rabbit as her pet, which stimulated the thought that only this creature was amiable enough to match her noble beauty. So people with rabbit as Chinese zodiac signs are not aggressive, but approachable. They have a decent, noble, and elegant manner. Korean, 10th to 13th century dragon. And that one is the first image, and then the second one is the dragon head produced in gold by Ai Weiwei. Dragons, Chen, enthusiastic, lively, active, energetic, innovative, intelligent, have to work hard to succeed in career and love. Most compatible with the rat, the tiger, and the snake. Can be tactless, arrogant, impatient. Chinese believe that they were descended from dragons. It's a divine power, and it is the only mythical, magical animal in the zodiac. Authority figure, acts with dignity, honorable, usually decisive, and can be inspiring and sensitive. And so this is the dragon. And again, considered generally a positive attribute or a positive sign. And again, in Western culture, the dragon is typically more of a foe. So dragon, according to traditional folk lore, the year of the dragon is a particularly auspicious time. And so this particular work is late Roman, 5th century stem cup, a very, very ornate cup at that. You tend to be ambitious, gifted, confident, creative. You can also be abrasive, demanding, and unwilling to compromise. And that quote is from the Asian Art Museum for dragons. Snakes, charming, intuitive, romantic, perceptive, polite. Popular, they will not be ignored. Excellent manners. If you are hopelessly in love with someone, it's probably a snake person. Deep thinkers, intellectual, follow their feelings rather than fact. They don't like to lend money, but they will give money to help. And so this particular snake image is from the Yuan dynasty, 12 to 1300s. And remember, a snake in Chinese culture typically is more positive a symbol than in Western culture. A snake is often a symbol of rebirth in Eastern art. This is Ai Weiwei's Snake Ceiling, 2009. And I've included a number of Chinese artists, Ai Weiwei, because he is so important in art history right now. He's kind of a big deal. So people born in the year of the snake, another source, are intelligent, wise, they're charming, usually good looking. They also are deep thinkers. They like to plan well and are determined in whatever they do. Snake people are quiet, they're reserved, and are good at giving advice to others. They can strongly distrust other people and choose their friends carefully. They happily help people, but often exaggerate the help they have given. They are financially fortunate and enjoy the good things in life. Snake people can be passionate, possessive, they can be jealous. And this is from the Victoria and Albert Museum. So good website as well. The horse. This is a jade horse from the Han Dynasty. And remember, jade has a lot of value in Eastern Asian culture. So this is the horse, Wu. Diligent, friendly, sophisticated, talented, clever, energetic, love crowds. You can find them in their element at parties, concerts, theaters. So more cunning and clever than intelligent. Horse people leave home at an early age. They can be a bit selfish. And then this is a Chinese ceramic horse. Horse people can be hot-headed, hot-blooded, and impatient. And this is Adam Chang. And here you have his painting, Terracotta Warrior and Horse. And so, of course, the terracotta warriors also very important in art history, very important. The terracotta warriors, of course, is certainly a very special artifact or artifacts in art history. The sheep, goat, ram, wei, artistic, calm, reserved, happy, kind. Sheep, also sometimes goat or ram, is among the animals that people like the most. It's also gentle and calm. Creativity, intelligence, dependability, calmness. So that definitely repeats in at several sites. Comfortable being alone and does not like being the center of attention. Nurturing, good caregivers, more reserved, and they like to be at home. Monkeys, Shen, fun, loving, energetic, clever. Give a monkey a book, they will turn it into a musical. I thought that was funny. Charm, humor, well liked at a party. Don't hide their emotions well. You can tell what they are feeling. Problem solvers, thirst for knowledge, can be unreasonable. insistent that others do the right thing, can be self-centered and indifferent. Very loyal, monkeys often become famous or well-known. Um, Frida Kahlo, very much known for her love of animals. She indeed had monkeys. And so there's a couple self-portraits of Frida with monkeys. And then this is a Shanghai artist. This is a monkey from his 12 Zodiac series. The personified monkey, the Zodiac figure is quite old. It's only 6 inches tall. It has a beautiful glaze. It's turquoise and aubergine. And this is from the Qing dynasty. So people born in the year of the monkey are erratic geniuses of the Zodiac. Clever, flexible, inventive, original in thinking. They can solve the most difficult problems with ease. They are sometimes impatient and must do things immediately. And if they cannot, they become discouraged and give up easily. Good at making decisions, they tend to look down on others. Strong common sense, they have excellent memories and a deep desire for knowledge. They are strong-willed, yet do not stay angry long. They are most compatible with the dragon and the rat. And this is the monkey. Dog. Here's a picture of Ai Weiwei. It gives you an idea of the great scale of his Zodiac series. So it's really, really quite remarkable. So the dog, loyal and honest, responsible, courageous, warm-hearted. Respect tradition and value, honor and helping people. Not good at socializing with other people and rarely shines in a group. Good listener, will keep secrets, hate gossip. Agreeable companion, but can turn nasty when tired. Judgmental, defensive, picky, but makes a great friend. Makes a good priest, educator, critic, or doctor. And then this is an example of a Chinese Natsuki, the dog. And again, it's fairly simplified, but it's really quite beautiful as well. And again, Natsukis are small. Okay, this is the dog as well. And you have a personified dog figure. It is, again, also has that turquoise and aubergine glaze. This particular set is at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And this is an Ai Weiwei dog head being installed. So these Zodiac figures travel to many locations. Again, I saw it at the LACMA. Dogs are honest, loyal, obedient. They are embarked for success. They make excellent leaders and always seem to have money. Dog is very inspiring. They often seem distant and do not mix well in social gatherings. They do better one-on-one. Dogs find happiness in the happiness they bring to others. Dogs get along fine with horses and tigers, but not dragons. So the pig, and again, I'm nearing the end of these. You tend to be loyal, honest, courageous, generous. You also can be materialistic, immovable, and domineering. Like fine dining, especially chocolate, not really too much, but you do like food. One of the pigs that I know, it sounds so negative in Western culture, is a foodie, which I think is pretty ironic. So he's an expert at all things food. So here's also a painting of the pig as well. And then again, another one of those personified pig figures. This one is from the Metropolitan. Again, only about 6 inches, not very tall at all. So the pig is sincere, has a pure heart, tolerant, they're honorable. When you first meet them, too good to be true. You can trust them, they won't let you down. They want to do everything right and people admire them the most. They're born to give and serve. People take advantage of their good nature. Will sacrifice their happiness for someone else. And this is by the artist Chang, and this is his example of the pig from the Zodiac, and he produced these in the 2010s. So I hope this was interesting to you. I hope you're sitting there figuring out, okay, which one of my family members is this sign? It's kind of fun, so enjoy it. Don't take it too seriously or get depressed about it, but it's certainly something to consider, and it's certainly interesting, and it's certainly interesting to see the art that is produced. So thank you.